Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. A little out of focus there. Whoa. So basically, you guys are tuning into another live stream, and I want to say thank you and welcome to the stream. There is going to be a little bit of a shorter show today, just dealing with some stuff on the technical side of things that I can't quite figure out. But it's all good because we're just gonna sit here today and we're gonna answer your questions live and pretty much talk about like what's going on in the tech world. If you guys can hear me good in the chat, let me know. If not, I'll turn up my volume. Let's see what's going on. First, I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat, making sure everybody is having a good day today. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Let's see. How are the volume levels? Do they sound pretty good to you? If not, I can turn it up. Um, I'm a little quiet. All right, let me fix that. How about right now? How's that? If I sound too loud or something, or if I'm clipping, let me know. Like if I sound like I'm a little distorted or something, let me know because I hate sounding like that. It's like my worst fear is to sound distorted. Um, as an audio guy. So I want to say that I got a lot of cool things planned for this channel. I have a Sonos Arc review that is going to be going up sometime next week. Um, and also, I do have a special announcement that I just got another soundbar, and it is the Bose 900. And I'll be checking out the Bose 900 on this channel. Let me see. I thought I sent it on Twitter, Classy. Um, is it not showing up on Twitter? Let's see. I'll send it again. But yeah, I have the Bose 900 soundbar, and that was just released by Bose, and so I'm gonna be checking that out and comparing it to the Sonos Arc. And yeah, I'm pretty new to these Atmos soundbars. I have the Sonos Beam, which isn't Atmos. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I watched the movie Greenland yesterday on just the soundbar itself from Sonos Arc with no rears, and I gotta tell you, I was blown away. It was really, really good. The sound was incredible. The soundstage that it created from, and I don't even believe that was an Atmos movie. It was straight off of HBO Max, and it was so good. The amount of just space that it seems like it creates in your room is really good. So if anybody's looking for just like a one dedicated soundbar, I can definitely recommend the Sonos Arc. The only problem that I would have with it is that at times the dialogue did seem like it was a little bit tinny, and it felt a little bit I don't know. The dialogue wasn't quite where I would want it to be with the soundbar. So I'm kind of hoping that the Bose is gonna solve that a little bit. But I do have my doubts. I think that like getting a dedicated subwoofer to go along with these soundbars would be a good idea because you are going to separate the bass, and then that gives your others frequencies range um, ways so that it can shine better. Because when you do have a subwoofer, you're gonna make those sounds a lot better in the mids and the highs. So I am I'm very impressed though with the overall just uh, sound that the Arc does produce, and it has pretty good bass. So I really do like it. The Sony A9 looks like a really good one. I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on that, but I think FOMO is getting the A9, so I'm curious to see what he thinks about that. And yeah, some sound bars are getting a lot better from where I had tested them a couple years ago to now. Sound bars are getting easier to recommend, but I do think that there is probably some room for it to grow as well. I think let's see. I have it pretty close to my mouth already. Um, all right, let's see. Uh, camera's going out of focus for some reason. Let's see. Classy, did you get that link? I sent it. So we'll be joined by Classy, I believe, pretty soon. And I'm going to go ahead and start bringing up some questions from chat. So if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to at me on here or put a Q in front of your question so that I know that it's a question that you're being asked, that you're asking in the chat. And then also, you do have the ability to super chat if you want to support the channel. Not required, but it is always appreciated, and I appreciate everybody that does do that. But yeah, if you want a question answered, just put a question mark in front of the chat and in front of the question, and I'll be able to get to that in chat. And you can also at me. That's a good way to do it as well. So we have our first super chat of the day. Thank you to Buddy Love for the $5. What up, KG? I hope all is well. Any plans on getting the Switch OLED next week? So I actually don't plan on getting the Switch OLED. The reason for this is just because I personally don't use it handheld. Um, I might be able to review one. I know somebody that is getting one, so I might be able to get my hands on one to review it and check it out. But for the most part, I think that for my use case, I don't see getting a Switch OLED to make sense because I mostly have it connected to the TV in the first place. So I do think that overall, the Switch OLED's not a solution for me, but I do like what I see from it. So if you're somebody that plays it handheld, I would definitely recommend getting the Switch OLED over it because it is bigger and it's going to be a nicer screen overall. Um, yeah. I noticed that most soundbars come with side or rear channels now. I've noticed that too. Um, but I don't know if it's necessary to be honest with you. So I usually have the beam and two sides hooked up. And what I did was I purposely unplugged my sides to see if I could feel that same sort of soundstage from the side speakers without the side speakers being there. And what I felt was the Arc created more of a soundstage, and I didn't need those rear speakers. And I also felt like those side speakers, same sort of deal. Like I think if your room is going to be closed in, like you have the ability to close it in, you have a door, and you don't have anything leaking out, you don't have sound leaking out, then I think soundbar is a really good solution for that room. So this room is more of like a kind of a bonus room, so you can actually close the door and everything is shut in. And I also have it soundproofed, so that probably helps as well. And not soundproof, sound treated, so that should help as well. That's what these panels are on the wall. Um, so I think if you have a room and you can set it up similarly to that, you might be okay with getting away with just a soundbar. But if you do go that route, I think going with a soundbar and then the second thing you purchase instead of going with rears is going to be a subwoofer. That's probably the way to go. And then I think that would be the ultimate like soundbar solution for most people if they are in that closed room environment. Now, if you're in more of a living room or like a den situation where you have some open space and things leaking out, well then a soundbar might not make as much sense for you if you can get yourself, unless you can get yourself those rear speakers and side speakers as well. If that makes sense, I don't know, because the soundbar usually has the speakers coming from the sides as well as the top and then the middle channel, so like there's multiple speakers throughout the whole entire soundbar. And when the sound comes from the side, what it does is it bounces off the wall, and when it comes from up top, it bounces off the ceiling. So that is just going to create this whole entire sound in the room. So I don't think rears are necessary for anybody that has an enclosed room. And that's just my personal thinking. That's just what I tested so far. Is I felt like rears didn't add anything when I added them to the Arc. I felt like there was not a huge benefit in sound. So to me, if you're gonna add something onto the Arc system, it would be the subwoofer first. And I haven't quite checked out the Bose 900 yet, so I'll be doing the unboxing of that tonight, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. Um, Classy, what's going on, man? Um, I don't know if you got the link or not, but I'm gonna start answering some questions in chat. All right, so let's scroll through. First, I want to say hi to everybody. Um, hey, how's it going to everybody in chat? Casey, David, Griffins, Chris, how you doing? Uh, Low to high. AC. What's up, everybody? Everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming out. And it says AC has a question. Does the gloss screen on the A90J make for a better picture than the matte on the A80J? I have a 65-inch. And also, should I get the A80J 65 for 1800 or wait till the A90J goes on sale? I don't know if the A90J will go on sale. There's kind of questions whether or not it will go on sale. If it does go on sale, it might be worth waiting for because I do think that premium could be worth it in the long run, but I don't see it going to a similar sale level as like what the A80J does in terms of like the price cut. So I think the A80J 65-inch is going to please most people. The matte versus gloss thing is a little overblown in my opinion. I think most people will forget about it once they get the A80J. It won't be a big deal. I didn't notice a difference in picture quality from normal viewing distances, and even up close, I feel like it was more of a placebo type thing of like the glossy gives you a better look, but I don't think that was actually really there. It just felt like it was something I was creating in my mind that everybody likes this glossy look to a screen more, and I feel the same way about monitors too. I don't know if there's actually any truth to that. So it's more of a semi-gloss on the A80J, but I don't think that's a big deal. And to be honest, it didn't affect the picture quality. It just kind of affects your perception, I guess. So we got Classy here, but we don't have a video feed, but that's okay. We'll add him anyway. How's it going, Classy?
Hey, yeah, I'm out, so it's too dark. You wouldn't see me anyway.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's good to have you on though.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day.
Yeah, work, work's doing some numbers on you today. Sucks, man. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go through some questions in chat here. So this was about the gloss screen. That's what I just answered. Okay, and then same thing there.
So, did you
What's
look
up?
at anything about the X900H and VRR?
I was looking a little bit about it. I don't know. I kind of have my thoughts kind of reserved for that. Still, I still want to look into it more before I say anything about it because from what I seen, it was disappointing at first, and I don't know. Did they release anything extra after that? Did they fix it or?
Well, it was never actually released. This was
Oh,
other
okay,
countries or people forcing X90J firmware
gotcha.
or
Okay, okay,
doing other things to get it. It's not actually been rolled out.
okay.
And it turns out the local dimming has been broken from an update. It's been a bug that some people were having for months. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
that it broke the local dimming across the entire TV. That's been an issue for some people for a while. It does lock you out of being able to use it with VRR, which I mean that's kind of par for the course
Right,
currently. Um, but the biggest issue appears to be excessive ghosting with VRR,
right.
and then also the way they implemented it is how with the HDMI ports you have to pick standard enhanced or Dolby Vision enhanced to
Mm-hmm.
get. Well, that's what they did is they added a fourth option for VRR. So if you have your Xbox connected and you select that VRR one, well, now you're not getting Dolby Vision when you watch movies unless you flip the switch, go into the settings, and change everything again. So,
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So it has inverse ghosting or what?
no, just pure black smearing ghosting.
Okay. Hmm. That's weird. All right. Yeah. I just so people weren't supposed to have it in the first place.
It's the update. It's just it hasn't rolled out. People are just uh, finding it and then
Ah, I got you.
downloading it or taking it from other countries. Or so a lot of people have the X90J firmware and then
Oh, okay.
using that. So and then you have people who are putting it on their TV, turning on VRR, and then playing on a PlayStation, and
Hmm.
saying, like the
Well,
PlayStation doesn't have VRR yet,
right.
so
Yeah.
that's the problem with this stuff is most people don't understand what they're doing,
So it's a lot
and
of misinformation then,
yeah,
is what I'm hearing. So it looks like we're kind of just overreacting for no reason. A lot of things are still kind of up in the air with that, and for the most part, like I don't think you should be trying to force an X90J firmware onto an X900H in the first place. Uh,
oh yeah, absolutely,
it's just like when people are talking about you should mess with a different region's firmware update and try to mess with the code in the firmware update. I'm like, don't do that because they're all coded differently. It's all different. Um, each region is going to have different specific problems with the TV. I've seen that with the Q90T when I was doing their firmware updates. It's one thing fixes for there, but then when they release the firmware update in the other country, it's totally different. So that's another thing. You just don't want to cross firmware updates with regions either.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
since I'm on my phone, I can't reply to the comments unless I just
Oh, it's all
talk.
it's all good. I'll let you know if there's anything for you.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so specifically, like, I'm glad you said this though, because it sort of gets out information to people that they shouldn't panic about this yet, right? There's no reason to overreact about the Sony VRR situation. It's still kind of up in the air. They're working through it, and give them some time. I think, like, until they actually do an official release, it's unfair to judge them. I think. Would
Yep.
you say that's fair to say?
And oh yeah, and again, I hate going by what a random person says,
Yeah.
but there's people in there saying that they put it on the X90J and that it's working on the X90J, or that the
Right.
firmware is for the X90J and it's VRR. So
Right.
who knows? Like, I just wait for it to officially come out. Don't do, any downloaded links that's not from the Sony website for your region,
Right.
and just yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, VRR is one of those things that I think that people are going to realize that they're probably not going to use as much once it is there. Especially when you can realize that it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be compromises. There's been compromises with pretty much everything with VRR. I mean, even when you go to LG, you see compromises with VRR. There's flickering and um, there's issues with the backlight with Samsung sometimes. The backlight's not fast enough to keep up. So local dimming is a problem with VRR. It's always been a problem with VRR, so we can't expect Sony to magically fix this problem. So if they feel like what what they got to do with the backlight, maybe they have to put it at a different level. Maybe they even have to turn it off. I think all those things should be maybe expected. If that's what they do, don't be shocked by it. But if they find a way to fix it, cool.
and it's only the first implementation. I'm sure they will have multiple firmware updates to fix this, address that, so on. I did see someone mention something about the 120 hertz audio might be getting
Yeah.
fixed with the update. So, hey, well, if that spread to the other Sony TVs, that would be nice.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, so I'm gonna get to some questions here. So Griffins says he has a dilemma. He wait. I think he says I have bought the AEDJ 77-inch with a warranty for 4K. Should I overextend myself instead to get the C1 83-inch for another 2.5K with the warranty? So I think he's thinking should he do one or the other? I think instead of saying he bought it. If I'm reading this correct. Please
I
clarify
think he
if I'm
got it
wrong.
for
But
$4,000, and should he add 2,500 and return it?
yeah, so he's basically saying should he go with the extra 2.5K and that also has the warranty with it to get the C1 83-inch?
Yeah.
Um, depends on your use case, I would say, right? Like, because you're going from an A80J to a C1, so in some regards, you're losing um, a bit of clarity, and I don't know, what would you say to this? Like, would you say it's a downgrade in terms of like movies and TVs going from an A80J to a C1?
Not if you're going E3 because the size difference will be more impactful,
Right.
but you need to, I think, first decide between C1 and A80, regardless of size, which one fits needs, and
Yeah.
then decide, do you sit far enough away that it's worth more than 50% more money for the, was it 16% bigger size, something like that?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Viewing distance is really gonna matter a lot. Let's see. So, a lot of questions about sports dimming. Does it dim like it does with gaming? Yeah, if you're sensitive to it, you're gonna have that same issue with the static logos and stuff on the A80J. Um, is image retention an issue if not a gamer? No, I don't think it would bother you if you're not a gamer. Wouldn't you say like probably won't run into it that much if you're not a gamer?
Yeah, I said the only time I can think of maybe seeing it, you're watching TV or YouTube or something, and you get a really bright commercial, and then it goes back to a dark show or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible, but that's about it. Outside sports or news.
Yeah. Nah, that's a good question. That's a good answer. I think let's see, let's get a better thing there. Um yeah, I don't think it's an issue personally either. Let's see, there's another question here. Uh Trump of Mary says sometimes red light strikes on the BX OLED screen. What is this? Not sure what he's talking about. He said the BX OLED in picture is always changing picture brightness level. ABL sometimes red light strikes on screen. What could he be referring to on that? You ever seen anything like that?
Um, that could be like something in the chain, maybe a bad HDMI cable, bad HDMI port, if you're using an external device, and if you're using internal apps,
Right.
could just be a defect in the TV or something
Right.
somewhere.
let's uh let's go on to the next one. Then yeah, that's weird. It sounds like a defect, huh? Um, IRL HDR. Sorry, man. Sorry what we did to the Jets. That was rough. That was rough. This is my mic volume dropped. I hope it didn't because I just raised it again. So hopefully it's good. Uh, 65 C1 is now 17.99. That makes sense. Um, so they're just pretty much matching Sony now. So yeah, really
Um,
good time to buy a TV if you're in the market for a 65-inch OLED. That I think now is the time to buy. You see it going cheaper than that? Much cheaper than that?
much cheaper, no, maybe a little, maybe 17 for Black Friday, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 months for $100. Does that really matter?
Right at that point, I just saw that the C1,
Then you got to deal
uh,
with websites crashing, or if you go in person, then dealing with all the people. And
right. Not only that, I just saw like the C1 48-inch at the PX was 1149. So I'm like, oh dang, I miss out. But like, it's not that big of a deal. It's only like 150 bucks, and like, am I gonna go and take this back to go grab it? No. Because it's a hassle, and I'm okay with that. Like, if I miss out on a deal that's 100 bucks or a little bit more than that, it sucks. But at the same time, I've been enjoying this for a month almost now. So depends on how bad you want a TV. And yeah, I still think right now is a good time to buy though. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you say anything to me and I don't reply, I'm
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
driving in a bad reception area. So
all good. I'll know that you're not ignoring me. AC says he sits 6 feet away. On one section of the couch, and another section is 12 feet. Would 65-inch be too small? I currently have 52-inch. So I think it would be a little bit too small. I would probably go 75 if you can, or 77.
yeah, I would try to go 77.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can also just judge for yourself based on what you have. I mean,
Yeah,
you're still going to get a big upgrade to 65, but if you really want more,
right.
and you can afford it, then go for the 77.
Yeah. I also think that like everybody's preference on field of view is different. Like some people are okay with having a big outline like outside of the screen, some area outside of the screen. Personally, like, and then there's other people that like to be up on it where they don't see, where they see the whole screen, but they barely see the bezel. So it really depends on your field of view preference as well. Like that is a big factor into it, which a lot of that is just preference. So, um, let's see some questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and just drop them. Either question mark, a Q in front at me, or super chat. All those things work. Um, and I'll get to your question right away. Today is just going to be a pretty casual question answers stream. I didn't really have a topic going today because I wanted to have something more in person. And with the situation that we're facing right now, I'd rather just answer questions. Um, So, if you have anything on your mind, Classy, feel free to bring it up too. And then AC says, does the uh, PPI make a difference on the screen size, like 65 to 77? So I asked this to Classy, and I also asked this to Brandon and Brian, and they both said that there's not that much of a screen door type effect going from 65 to 77. And Classy, do you feel the same way about this still?
All right, with 4K, you're not going to see any screen door. The only thing that when you go really big, like if you have subtitles, the text is going to be softer.
Yeah,
But I don't see anything really different in the image.
yeah. I think you'll be more impressed with the immersion than worrying about the actual PPI. Um, it doesn't seem to have as much effect on an OLED as than an LCD, is what I noticed.
Yeah, the pixel structures are different. The screen
Yeah.
is different, having that clean sheet of glass instead of a coated,
Mm-hmm.
not really whatever kind of panel it's on LCDs.
Yeah. And then
But
got a
I will
question.
say though, that's kind of an interesting counter argument.
Yeah.
The 900H, the TCL5 series, like these LCDs that I've had that do have like that really filmy coating on the screens.
Yeah.
Um, if you're watching older content with a lot of film grain or noise,
Uh huh.
it really blurs that out and makes it much more bearable.
Oh
So
wow.
if you like that classic style or
Yeah.
filmy look, but without the grain,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of is a benefit.
So you're saying going to those higher sizes helps with that?
Or I'm just saying the panel difference between an OLED and a LCD with
Yeah.
whatever coating,
Right. Interesting.
and that's also for like even the 65 and 55 AADJ with the semi matte or semi gloss. I mean that can have a similar effect where it helps you not to see as much of the film grain or noise.
Yeah. And then we have a question saying, why should I not buy a QN95A? So I'll give my answer after you do. But why would you not buy a QN95A if you're thinking about buying one?
Uh, Need a lot more context, but the number one thing would be no Dolby Vision, and
Yeah.
number two thing would be it doesn't follow the EOTF curve for HDR, so it's not going to be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that would be the biggest issues, right? And I would say that if you're trying to kind of talk yourself out of buying one, if you want to buy one, um, to me, you got to give me a better reason not to buy one if you're sold on one already, because it is a fantastic TV, and like if you're already in that LCD market, to me, like if you're set on a QN95A, it's probably going to be a good TV for you. But I would like to know more context for sure. Like, what is the situation here? Are you just trying to figure out what the best TV is, period, for you, or are you just trying to talk yourself out of buying this? Because that's what I would like to know. Because there's two different things. There's gonna be people that don't care about the accuracy. Like me personally, like when I saw the QN90A, I wasn't caring if it was accurate because it was just a really good picture. I liked it a lot, and I thought the colors were fine. So like everything about that TV, I liked. So far, it's been my favorite LCD that I've seen, and it's not really close. So it's tough for me to say don't buy that because I highly recommend that TV.
Yeah, I mean, if an LCD fits your needs and that's what you want, I mean, that's kind of the go-to.
Yeah, especially if you're a gamer. It's got a lot of good gaming features. Do you think the A90J will go on sale?
Um, a little bit, but not really, and it's probably going to be, a year or year and a half before you really see any kind of real sales. But then
So
it'll probably be upstaged by the step down offering that comes out that year.
yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it still the launch price? Because I remember it had
It's 200
a
bucks
short
less for
sale.
the 55 and 65.
Yeah, okay.
So
So
instead of 3 and 4, it's 28 and 38.
yeah, I think we're losing you. But we did see a short sale on it, after it was released. So maybe we'll see it go back to that price. Um, is what I would say. Maybe I wouldn't see it going any cheaper than it's been in the past, though.
I'd say if you're set on the A90J, that's what you have to have.
Hmm.
Just go through Green Toe if you really have to get a discount and you don't want to pay the normal price.
Yeah, that's true. And like for the most part, your panel lottery situation with that TV is going to be less of an issue.
Right. They're highly
Like
binned.
you can get it, but like for the most part, A90Js are pretty clean.
Yep.
Let's see. Uh, he says I
I
have
saw
a
Village asked if reviewing projectors.
yeah.
It's going to be a while, but once I am in a position to move and have a bigger room, that's going to be a requirement is having a room to do projectors.
Yeah. I would like to do projectors one sometime in the future. I'm actually thinking about expanding to a lot of different areas in tech that make sense for the channel, but it has to kind of line up good, and uh, I can't have it take priority over other things. But yeah, I would love to review projectors. That would be really cool.
And but I have a question. Does anyone need to see another Denon X4700H video? Like, should I just unbox it and set it up and be done and enjoy it, or should I take the time to do a video on it? Because at this point, I think it's kind of old. No, it's
Yeah.
not old, but it's the newest product they have, but it still came out last year and whatever.
Hmm.
So, like, is there a reason for me to even do anything on it? If there is, I'll do something. I just don't know if it's worth the time.
So I haven't seen your video on it yet, but like I would say if you have anything extra to provide in terms of value to it, like do you have like maybe your user experience you can talk about with it and talk about uh, why you like it more than other receivers, things like that. Maybe there's a reason for making a video on that. Just do like a final review type situation. Um, but I don't know how far can you really go with receiver reviews, or receiver content. It's kind of hard to make receiver content unless you got some things that you can highlight that were troubleshooting that you figured out that you didn't originally talk about.
And the only thing I was thinking about is, I guess in
Like
May they
eARC,
started
like
shipping.
you can talk about how eARC works.
As I say, in May, they started shipping ones that had the HDMI board fixed to do 4K 120. So I could do a
Hmm.
video showing that working on the PC or the Xbox, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, you should do that. I think that would be good. Anything that can answer a question for buyers, like if somebody's thinking about buying that and then there's like a dire situation where they need that question answered, then a video for that was probably good. Or just like all the question, you can make it like a just questions and answers video about that. Or you could just
Yes,
do
maybe
like
I
a
won't do like an unboxing review. I'll just set it
stream.
up, use it for a couple weeks, see
Hmm.
if I experience problems, and then do a video on the stuff that's now working and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Did you
Another
know that
question.
the receivers have actually gone up in price? Like
Yeah,
retail prices have actually gone up because of the how hard they are to keep in stock and whatnot. So they didn't bring out new receivers this year. They just kept the same ones and increased the price. So it
right.
went from 1,700 last year to 2,000 this year.
Yeah, I
Or,
saw that. I've noticed that. There's a lot of price issues with pretty much a lot of tech. I mean, we're seeing it with cameras too, Like if you wanted an A7S III, you couldn't get one right now.
oh yeah, I know. That's like, man, should I just do it? But
Yeah,
at $3,500, no lens.
man.
And
That's a
then I
tough
look at
sell.
there's this dip. So the problem for me with it is it has a dynamic range dip at
Yeah,
like between 4 and 800 ISO, which is like primarily where I shoot.
right.
And if it wasn't for that dip, then I would probably justify spending the money.
Right, right. Do you have a recommended Blu-ray player? Something you go to?
If you're on a budget, the UBP X700 Sony, you just
Okay.
got to manually toggle between Dolby Vision and HDR.
The
But
UBX 720?
UBP, yeah.
UBP 720. Okay. And you do have
Or
to manually
UBP
toggle.
X700. Is that what you heard? That's kind of breaking up for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I said.
I thought I heard a 20 in there. I'm like,
Maybe, I don't know. I think I was reading this guy. Um, let's see. Should I buy a Z9J for movies? So
no,
you seen the
no.
Z9J, you weren't impressed. Um,
You don't
but
buy the Z9J for anything.
yeah, it's a bit expensive for the amount of blooming that happens, right? Like,
Yeah, I can't imagine spending that on an 8K TV that doesn't play 8K content that has
right.
blooming like that. It's just no.
Yeah. So you would say like either get an OLED or get the QN900A
Yep,
if you're already in that price range.
yep.
Yeah. That's disappointing because that TV is such a huge TV. Um, it's heavy. Like the technology should help it, but it doesn't. I don't know. You think that's something they could fix in a firmware update, or you think that's just kind of what it is?
Ugh, I don't know. I think it's just Sony showing their lack of care for LCDs anymore, and just really not trying at 8K.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not a good answer. I don't want to hear that.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not so much they probably don't care. It's
right.
they have a budget, they're sticking to it. They're really not the most profitable, biggest company out there, so
Hmm.
they do have to cut their corners and do what they have to do to give us things like the A90J and the A80J. So,
Yeah. So Jordan McKenzie, I guess this is more of a question for me. He says he has the Samsung Q90T and he's thinking of selling it for an LG C1. Do you think the extra cost would be worth it? I'm in an average lit room and I use it mainly for video games. So to me, like I personally didn't see a reason to upgrade from a Q90T to a C1, and I've seen the QN90A next to the C1, and the difference was noticeable in certain content, but like for the most part, I actually preferred watching on the QN90A more, and I preferred the Q90T in some situations to the QN90A. So I don't think it's going to be like a huge upgrade that you'll get blown away by. Now, I think it depends on also have you seen of an OLED before, and do you know what you're expecting with an OLED? Because going from a Q90T to an OLED might make it feel like you're going to a TV that's just not capable of going to that high peak brightness. And some HDR highlights with that TV, they will actually be better on the C1 because of the dimming algorithm from the Q90T. But on the flip side of that, the full screen brightness is going to be nowhere near as close to the Q90T. So it really is going to depend on your use case and your situation and how much you can get for the Q90T in the first place when you sell it. Because that's another gray area that we never know is how much you can get for selling the TV to somebody. So I would say it depends on how much you can get for it, but for the most part, I wouldn't upgrade anything for the Q90T just yet. I don't think it's worth upgrading off of yet. I think it's a good TV, and it's a reason why I'm not replacing my 65 inch.
Yeah, and I would just add that in my experience trying to resell TVs, it's extremely difficult. That
Yeah,
unless you know somebody
right.
that is going to give you a reasonable price, if you go to like Facebook Marketplace or something, you're going to have to put it up for far less than it's worth to you, and then still get low balls and whatever, and end up taking probably half to two-thirds of that.
Yeah, yeah. Selling a TV unless you know the person is a difficult thing. It is a very difficult thing.
So I mean,
But
like, I, let's just say if I had that TV and I was trying to sell it and I put it on Facebook Marketplace or something, I would expect to go for about 500 or 600 bucks.
yeah,
So is it worth more than that to you?
yeah, I would say like what you're gonna get for the 55-inch Q90T, you have to think about it like this. Can you get a TV that's as good as the Q90T for the same price? Like that you sell it for? If the answer is no, don't sell it. Like just work up your money to a C1 if you want another TV and put that in a different room because you're gonna regret probably selling the Q90T because you're not gonna get a TV as good as the Q90T for the same price. And it's still a fairly new TV. So yeah, I feel like if you did that, you might end up regretting it because oftentimes the price of what you're selling it for is not what it's actually worth. Which is funny to say
And go
because
back
there's
for
a lot of
the
people
Blu-ray
that
players
would.
for a second. Yeah, the UB820,
Oh yeah, the David
the
said the
UB820
UB.
is great. You know, and it goes on sale. I'm gonna try and get one.
Yeah, I hear good things about that. Um,
Yeah, I guess I'm in a bad
let's
spot and there's a
see.
delay for me.
Oh, no problem, no problem. You're fine. Just making sure I get to everybody's questions. So if I didn't get to your question yet, it's probably because I'm still scrolling, making sure that I don't miss anything. Um, I have a very bright room and I have no idea what TV to buy. Often hear that the C1 is great. So define very bright room for us because if you have, a situation where you're going to have light hitting the TV most of the time and you're in the daytime, to me the C1 is a no-go. Like it just depends on what your bright how bright is your room. Very bright room. Could you describe like how your window situation is, when where the lights are coming from? I think that really really puts things in a perspective and it makes it easier to say if an OLED can work because an OLED can work in a bright room. There's no doubt about it, but it is all context and it depends on your situation. Let's see. Dilemma whether or not to buy the Best Buy warranty for an OLED. Um, for me, it would depend on the size, and if it has an issue, it's probably going to likely have that issue within the return period. And if you're worried about burn-in and you need that for peace of mind, then that's when you buy the warranty. Or if you're just worried about it being hung up and if something goes wrong, you need to have somebody take it down, then maybe there's another reason to consider the warranty. But personally, I don't buy warranties out of burn in fear. I never did when I had the OLED before. And I probably never will in the future. So I'm using my monitor right or my C1 as a monitor right now, and I didn't buy a warranty for it. Um, is that careless? I don't know, maybe. But personally, I don't think burn-in is a huge issue for the most part, for most people. And in most people's use case, they probably won't ever experience it. Though everybody's use case is different, and that's not to say it can't happen, but I really think you have to be pushing your TV in an abnormal way to get burn-in, like significantly. And if you even get burn-in, the chances of you recognizing that you have burn-in unless you run a burn-in checker is really low. You
Yeah.
know what?
Well,
Like
I'm thinking,
I think that's not talked about enough is like when you actually get burn-in, the chances of you actually recognizing it is like kind of slim. You have to be on the right type of background or you have to be on the right like startup screen or UI or something to notice it in the first place, right? Like it's not just going to be ingrained in your screen for every scene. That's not how burn-in works. It's just
yeah,
like if you have that color, then you'll see it. It's like a shadowy outline. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's too much burn-in fear.
yeah, and it's not like it's just boom. There's going to be an image one day. It's going to be so gradual, so slow.
Yeah.
It's going to be so faint. It's just going to be there until it reaches a point that you can't tolerate it anymore.
Hmm.
But like, I wouldn't expect it to start doing that anywhere from like 8 to 12,000 hours or something, which is
Yeah.
a really big window. But I mean, everyone's use case is different.
Right.
Um, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the UPSI warranty because you can buy it whenever, and
Hmm.
everyone's always asking about UPSI warranty. And then
Gotcha.
that way I have both bases covered to be able to provide information. Either I get burn in and they cover it, or they don't cover it, or whatever. Either way, I can provide content and information and try it out.
Right. And I'll just be the idiot that doesn't buy the warranty, and then I'll show you guys, like if I have burn-in in 10 months because I edit videos on this all day, and I also edit music on this pretty much all day. So if you see like editing elements burned into my screen, you'll know that I'm the idiot that told you not to get the burn-in protection. You know, then I'll call myself out too. If I end up getting burn-in really quickly on this, I'm gonna first of all laugh about it and also be sad about it at the same time, and then feel bad. It's gonna be all three things. But I don't know. I think I'm just being a little dramatic when it comes to the burning on my screen. Um, because I think like it's probably fine. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that use this as a productivity monitor all the time, and there's no sense of burn-in, right? Like there's this video with Linus showing the burn-in, right? That's a very extreme use case as well, I would say.
Well, it's not only that; it's he. So Linus is incredibly intelligent. I've been watching him since he started NCIX. I love Linus, but
Yeah.
his knowledge is very wide and not focused on TVs to that depth. So like
Right.
he was mixing up ABL with ASBL. He thought you could disable ABL in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
service menu and you can't. The
Right.
reason that he had that on his on the C1, well, it's actually no, it's the C10.
Right.
So it's older panel still.
Yeah.
Uh, is because he's using it as a monitor that is on 15 hours a day or whatever.
Right.
Biggest thing you have to do is use the compensation cycles. So if you're using it as a monitor, you're going to get up and go get a drink or a sandwich or use the bathroom or whatever. You have to turn it off. That way it can get those compensation cycles in. It only
Yeah.
takes like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing that, then that's not helping anything.
Yeah, and all you have to do is turn it off. You don't have to run anything. You just turn it off. Like literally
Yeah.
just turn it off. And that's what I do. Whenever I'm done editing something or whenever I'm done at the computer, I'll just literally just turn off my TV. I'm like, "All right, I'm done." And then I'll only turn it back on when I need to get to it. So, yeah, I guess like if you guys want a really good case study, this channel is a good case study because I'm going to be using this monitor, the 48-inch C1, as strictly just my go-to monitor. It's going to be my editing monitor. I'm going to do live streams on it. It's going to be a lot of the same things being repeated. So if burn-in happens, it's going to happen on my TV. and I'm also gonna be playing games on it. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, and see,
Any
like
what's
I'm
up?
thinking, so what I like to do now that I figure I can do it, is I use my C1 as my camera monitor. So that
Yeah,
way I know what I'm looking at because the C1's calibrated. So I know exactly how it's going to look when I pull the file off the camera if I do it that way. Um, so now I have a probably, I only stretched out to like 3/4 the size of the screen or whatever. So I'm going to be doing that a lot. So, and it's
yeah,
HDR, like really bright, trying to capture really bright stuff. So, I mean, there's a good chance I could get burned in or be abusing the panel or whatever doing that.
right.
But again, that's an extreme use case.
Mm-hmm. I lose you? What happened? Okay, we're
I'm
good. We're
here in
good.
the bad area.
Okay, that scared me. I was like doing some stuff in the StreamYard settings, and I just got like no sound all out of nowhere. I thought I like ended this stream on accident. I was like, oh. Um, yeah, let's get to the questions. I think my camera might actually die because I started this at 29%. So if my camera dies and we go to like a straight up audio setup, I'm sorry because I actually don't have a webcam right now. So I don't know. I guess the best thing to do would be to call in on my phone and still talk on here or something. Or we might just end the stream a little bit earlier. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably go for another 15 to 20 minutes and we'll try to get as many questions in as possible. Oscar has a question here and he says, yo, man, X90J versus QN90A. Oh, this one's not close for me. This one's not close. The QN90A just absolutely destroys the X90J. Did you hear that? Did you catch that one?
Oh yeah, I just didn't think there was anything to add.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
That was. I was like,
that's what it is.
yeah. There's no nice way to put it. I mean, it's two different levels of TV. So you
Um,
got an A tier TV versus like a B, C tier TV.
yeah, I
So
was gonna say this is like a three different tier
yeah,
separation there.
it is three different tiers actually. Yep. Let's see. Can't ever see myself buying a used OLED. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not unless not unless you do get that warranty with it. Uh,
I would, as long as you go in the service menu, see how many
right.
hours are
Yeah.
actually on it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. And also, like, I would buy a used C1. Like, who's gonna be abusing a C1? Like, not too many people. So,
The ones I'd be afraid of are the refurbs,
yeah,
because when they get refurbished, they could be reset, and who knows what they've been through.
right. That's true. Let me scroll up. Um, okay. Let's see. So yeah, we answered this one, Oscar. Definitely get the QN90A if you're debating between the two. I think the QN90A is way better. Um, don't
I
buy a
guess the sound
TV.
is mismatched, so I'm gonna start trying to talk a little quieter. So I'm
Okay,
on my phone, so I can't get any kind of indication of how loud it is. So
you're good. I'll
uh,
let you know if I can't hear you. Um, so Mr. Walker says, don't buy a Sony TV based on broken promises for gaming features. They have zero customer service. Um, like this is one of those things. Like for the most part, that is disappointing that Sony said that for we're gonna have VRR last year and they didn't give it to you and it's still not here. So I can understand like why people are upset about that. There's a lot of different companies that do that though. So like if you're expecting any TV company or any company at all to give you like promises that are kept, good luck because Samsung has broken promises, Sony has broken promises, LG has broken promises. Like I haven't named me a company that is like has a clear track record. Um, that's just how these things work. They promise things that they think they can deliver, and really they didn't do enough research or look into it enough to deliver on it. And unfortunately, that's just how it works with tech. Let's see. Comparison between the QN90A and the A90J. The A90J is going to give you a better picture quality overall. The QN90A is going to be, or sorry, the Q900A. Okay, so the QN900A versus the A90J, that would be an interesting comparison. Um, I would definitely say that that's one I would want to see, and I can't speak on that one because I have not seen the QN900A, but I have seen the QN90A, and I've done a comparison between the Q90T and the A90J, which is similar to the QN90A. And then the 900A is probably going to be a step up from that. It's brighter. Um, it's going to have a lot of the same characteristics though. But this is hard for me to say because I have not seen the QN900A, so I can't give you a real definitive answer. So I'm sorry about that. But I would imagine the A90J is still going to be the best picture quality in terms of clarity, in terms of just getting it all right with the processing. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, at the shootout, that was the final thing was the having well, they had the it was the OLEDs at the end, but
Yeah.
got to see the 900A, and then they switch them, and then the A90J comes back out.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's pretty much the C or sorry the Z10 and
Mm-hmm.
the A90J were really similar in brightness and performance and whatnot. So it
Wow.
was kind of the same situation. So
Yeah.
seeing the 900A against the OLED, it's you don't get the perfect blacks or the just above black and all that, but you get so much extra brightness, and
Yeah.
the blacks and near black is the best I have ever seen by a long shot on an LCD.
Yeah.
So they're good enough that if
Mm-hmm.
you want that just huge brightness impact in the small highlights and stuff,
Yeah.
plus high average picture level, like all of that, the 900A is really impressive. It's just comes down to, do you want accuracy? If you want accuracy, then you want to go with the OLED. If you don't care that midtones are too bright or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you don't care that you're giving up Dolby Vision, then the 900A is really something special.
Yep. And then, so real quick, this is a question says, do you think the TCL 646 is the best option in the price range? Mainly looking forward to gaming and movies. Currently using a Panasonic Plasma. I really like the 646. Go ahead and watch my review on it. I try to break down the strengths and weaknesses of it. It's an early review. I'll be doing a full review and I'll also be doing a gaming review on it as well. So there's some limitations though. 120 hertz, you are limited to what you can do in settings. So some things, some picture options are disabled in 120 hertz, and we also don't know if it's going to be the full range of 120 hertz. I'm still trying to figure that out and study that. Um, I'm hopefully going to get a actual like good amount of testing in on it to be able to tell. Uh, but it's something that I'm having a hard time figuring out to see if it is that the fake 4K 120. So we'll see on that side of things.
But
But yeah,
uh, I would just say that the 646 does seem like it's a great option for its price range. But if you're coming from a Panasonic Plasma, I don't think that's the direction you want to go, especially with gaming. Um,
okay,
I would say that that's what $1,200 for the 65, something like that, right?
yeah,
I would say do what you can, add the $600 and get a C165 if you're coming from a Plasma. I just don't know if you could go Plasma to a TV like that and be happy, be that happy. Usually, Plasma owners end up going OLED. So,
yeah. Um, Nah, yeah, that's true. So the super sticker from Ray, thank you for the super sticker. He says, "Oh, did he have a question?" I think he was just giving some love to the channel. Thank you so much, Ray, for the super sticker. Appreciate that. And then M Woldy, $5 super chat says, "Basic TV setup from Costco is just $19. Best Buy's cheapest option is $149. Do you have experience with either? Why is Best Buy so expensive?" So Best Buy used to actually be like pretty much free and included. And sometimes they will throw it in. It's just they just connect the TV for you. They just set it up for you, connect the TV, put the legs on, things like that. Why is it so expensive? I think they've kind of pulled back on that and right now what they do is when they deliver the TV to your house, they use a third party, and I don't think they're allowed to set up things anymore for you. But sometimes they will just take it out of the box and install it. But I think maybe they had some issues with that. So when you pay for the $149 option, what you're getting is not the third party company. You're getting the first party Geek Squad, the people that are employed by Best Buy directly, and they're going to set up your TV and make sure it's all good to go with settings and all that stuff. It's just basic stuff, but it is what they do. Part of that, and I think with the $149 option as well is might be mounting, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen the Best Buy stuff in a while. The Costco TV setup is literally just putting your TV on the stand itself. They don't
They
mount
don't even do
anything.
that. Not
They
for the
don't even
twenty
do that.
dollars.
Oh,
They
okay.
theirs is literally they'll bring it to the room that you want it and leave the box.
Oh,
For the
okay.
$20, that's all they're doing.
So they don't put the stand on or anything.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, it's just basic stuff. So I would say if you're gonna set it up yourself anyway, just have them leave it at the door for you. You can do it for free. Thank you for that question though. If I missed anybody's question, I'm sorry. Sorry. KG and Classy, the most chill TV reviewers on YouTube. Thank you. I actually take that as a compliment. I feel like being chill and just relaxed is a good thing. Um, you don't want to be too crazy, too serious about this stuff. I try to be as like real as I can be because I'm a consumer myself, and I want the best options for everybody. And I feel like Classy is the same way, and that's why I think I vibe with Classy so much. Is we have a very similar like thinking strategy, and we're totally different people as well. Like he likes more accurate side of things. I don't. I'm more just like I just want the best looking picture in my eyes. Like I don't care how accurate it is. So and then you also have an aspect of you where you can like dismiss the accuracy sometimes, which is what I like is you can be objective to both sides. And at the end of the day,
And I think
we
as
all just
far as
want the
like
best.
our just
What?
general, for our just general YouTube styles, like it seems that you're the same as me. That like if I'm watching someone on YouTube, I don't like the people who take a minute and a half to get through an intro to
Mm-hmm.
then start saying, okay, now let's talk about it, but then repeat themselves 30 times to drag out the video and just do all these things that waste people's time
Yeah.
and things like that. I'm never going to do that. Like, I just want to give you the information. I'm literally honest to a fault, even if I shouldn't be sometimes, because I'd rather that than be a liar. Um, I just say it as I see it, and you pretty much the same way. So
Would you say you're the number one brand in honesty, but um, or the number two brand? I don't know.
anyone that has to say that isn't exactly
I'm
providing
I'm
much confidence in
I'm
me.
just focused on fun. I actually don't have anything against him. Um, I've never actually met him, so uh, I just know he made one video about me, so that's it. That's all I'll say about that. But I like poking fun at that. It's fun. Let's see. Mike Buckaloo. I hope I say your name right. I don't know why I said it like that. I really apologize. But does the AADJ have dimming issues with sports, mainly football? So with football, I don't know if it would be too much of an issue because the scene is constantly changing. You're getting a lot of commercials. Um, for something that's constant, like a soccer game or football, I guess it depends on okay where you're at. All right, I get stuff for this all the time. Look, I'm American, and I say football is soccer, and soccer is soccer here. So that's very confusing. Like, okay, if you're watching American football, the NFL, if you're watching that, then dimming issue probably won't be that big of an issue for you. I would say if you're watching soccer, that could be more of an issue because you are constantly on the field and it really doesn't go to commercial break. So it's a whole half. And with sports, with the NFL, with that aspect of sports and even with the NBA and other things as well, you're constantly getting commercial breaks. So you're always changing the scene. So you give that a chance to come back, if that makes sense. And so I don't think it would be as much of an issue. Would you feel the same way? Like, shouldn't be as big of an issue as something that's constant for like 40 minutes.
In a bad spot, but yeah, for most like American sports, I think he'll probably be fine. I haven't seen too many complaints. It was
Yeah.
soccer and hockey and things like that where I've seen people mention it.
Yeah,
Um,
Brandon hasn't had any complaints about sports, so he's a sports guy. Um,
Prod dude followed up that Costco did unbox and set up his TV for 20.
oh, yeah.
Maybe they're doing that again because when I went through Costco a couple times last year, they said they weren't doing that anymore because of pandemic reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That makes sense
so
though. Yeah. That's what I thought they usually do. But that makes sense why they didn't do it for you. And I think that's why Best Buy stopped doing it is because of pandemic reasons. So that all makes sense there. Let's see. There's some more questions here. I'm trying to get to everybody's questions before we end or before my camera dies. Whatever happens first. Whatever happens first. So this stream could end when my camera dies. Then we'll
but
just
you
be
can't just
audio
plug
for
in
like
the
5 minutes.
USB-C and give it power while you're streaming.
I am doing that, but it's like it's not constantly charging it though. It's still like it's hanging on by a thread. Is what I think that's what that
So are
was.
you using a like a just
It's not a.
whatever adapter, or is
It's
it the
just a.
one that came with like the battery charger?
Yeah, it's just a charger that you plug in. It's not a dummy battery, like my Panasonic was a dummy battery, but this is
Yeah.
just charging it. It's
Yeah,
running
I was just
continuous
wondering if the
power, but it
adapter is
is
strong enough
still.
to do it.
Huh?
Like the wall adapter, if it's strong enough, like what the USB-C is going to.
Oh yeah, probably. I do have it plugged into a little USB dongle, which is probably not helping it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's see. Thank you again for that super chat. Here's Preston with the super chat. Thank you. He says, classy. Honestly, do you ever wish you kept the G1 instead of your A80J? I know you watch a lot of older stuff, but I'm just curious.
A whole lot, yes.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm happy with what I have. It's just sometimes I kind of wish that I would have just stuck with one TV.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now just getting used to the C1 as a monitor, it's like I'm happy that I did that,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have ended up doing that regardless anyway. So in the end, it's fine. I think the only other thing I would have really considered more and was thinking about was the 83 C1, just for the extra size. But uh, yeah, I mean the setup I have, I'm happy with. Um, I the, I haven't actually gotten to really enjoy it though, the way that it's in my mind to enjoy it, just because I've been so busy going through C1 panels that weren't good, just having the TCL to review, then my receiver dying. So tonight I'm hooking everything up, wiring everything again, and finally gonna sit down and watch a movie and swing the TV over and use it as a gaming TV. And
Nice.
so we'll see how it all goes, but should be happy with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be doing some movie watching tonight. I'm gonna watch Interstellar for the first time.
That is one of my favorites.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big
Hopefully
I'm a
you
big
haven't been
fan of
spoiled
of
by the
Christopher
thing.
Nolan, so I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet. Inception's my favorite movie. Um, so
Yeah, I might watch the Many Saints of Newark tonight.
oh yeah, that's
But
right.
I do want to rewatch all the Daniel Craig Bond movies to go see the new one.
Yeah, yeah. Preston brings up Goonies. You watched the Goonies yet?
We were going to the other night, and then it was just got too late, didn't happen, and then the receiver went out. And I'm not gonna. All right, here's the thing with the TCL 5 series, it's a great TV, but the
Mm-hmm.
audio was so bad when my receiver went out and I didn't have one and I couldn't use my speakers. I was
Oh
literally like, all
man.
right, forget this. I'm gonna go to the bedroom and watch my
Yeah.
59-inch 3-year-old TCL 4 series because the
Oh,
speakers are that much better. The
that's
speakers on
crazy.
that 5 series were hurting my ears. I couldn't listen to it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. Actually, I don't know why I didn't bring this up in the first impressions because I usually do bring up sound, but I'll make sure I bring it up in the real review. But the sound was terrible. Like the sound on the 6 series was horrible. So yeah, if you
Like
if you buy the 6 series or the 5 series, get a sound bar.
I think an $80 cell phone has better sound than that TV.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can go buy that like $100 Vizio setup. It'll be better than the TV. Um, so like, yeah, it's that sound was pretty bad. Have you seen Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie?
No.
Oh man, see that's another one I think you gotta watch that. Yeah, that movie and then like Three Ninjas, all the Three Ninja movies like bring me back. Um, you've seen Three Ninjas, hopefully. No, no Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas? No. I don't think so.
Oh man, okay,
I could throw you an oddball one.
all right,
Uh,
let's do it.
see if there's, uh, oh gosh, it's been so long. Um, it's like right there. I can't think of the first part of the name. Dang it. Oh, Pool Hall Junkies. You ever see that?
No, actually, I've never seen that.
It's on HBO usually. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta do yourself a
Christopher
favor and watch.
Walken.
Oh, that's cool. Might have to check that out. Pool Hall Junkies. It's interesting. Are we just saying favorite movies? Then mine is Terminator 2. That's what M. Woldy said. I like Terminator. Terminator 2 is so good. Wow, that movie. When I saw that movie in the, was it? Did I see that movie in the theater? I can't even remember. I think I did, but yeah, that movie blew my mind when I seen it the first time. That's for sure. The newer Terminators, not so good. Not so much.
Yeah, I was on board with the newer Terminators until they just did what X-Men did and just threw the timeline out the window that they
Stop.
created, and
Don't even
it
mention
made no
X Men.
more.
Oh my god.
It made no
Oh,
sense no more.
bro. Dark Phoenix is the saddest thing.
Well, even Apocalypse, it's just like they set up the timeline and what they
Yeah,
were doing was fine, and then that comes out and it's like they just threw it all away. It's like, what? This makes no sense.
yeah. Days of Future Past was so good, and then they just whoosh, go downhill from there.
And then Logan was amazing, but
Yeah,
again, didn't fit
Logan
the
was
timeline.
incredible. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Days of Future Past was that was good. Um, here's some more questions here while we were chatting. We got considering the R646. I keep saying the R46, but it's the R646 or the 950H dark room movies, no gaming. I have lots of lower than 4K content. No gaming, I would say if you can get the 950H, it's still pretty good. It's the
Here, I'm gonna have to disagree though because he says dark room, and the
oh
958
yeah.
has raised blacks and low contrast.
Yeah, that's true. I like the 646 in the dark room. So yeah, maybe the 646 then. Yeah, I didn't even consider the 950H's dark room performance.
And
It's a
then if you have lower than 4K content, I mean the 950H has the X1 processor. It's fine, but it's not the XR, so you're not
yeah.
really missing out on that. So I think you'd be fine.
Yeah, I like some of the SDR options that the TCL has in it. Can make for a really good picture. I was actually surprised with how good you can get SDR to look.
Yeah, I haven't seen the 6 yet, but with the 5, it defaults to some really wonky, messed up settings, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
really bad.
Does it have that smart HDR setting?
Yeah, but I was just in movie mode, and it defaults the backlight to 80,
Oh.
which is ridiculously bright for SDR. It's
Hmm.
like around 20 is 150 nits.
Yeah.
So I dropped it down to that. And that's like the biggest thing right there to help with the black levels and blooming, whatever, is just drop that backlight if you're an SDR. And then the gamma settings all messed up. You actually have to go to 2.5 to equal 2.4. Um, so once you make adjustments and changes, then you can get it looking pretty good, pretty accurate.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen Mighty Ducks?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you get a pass there. That's good. Let's see. Best upscaling: Samsung 8K QN900A or the XR in OLEDs. I actually never seen the QN900A's upscaling. Did you get to see the upscaling or
Yeah,
was it?
in the shootout they were testing all that, and um, I don't know. I would say you're probably going to have just a slight touch better clarity and sharpness with the XR and an OLED.
Yeah,
Um, just the combination of the glass panel and the better, that they just very slightly better upscaling.
yeah, and reality creation
Yeah.
helps a lot. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. Appreciate you. Rookie of the year. Have you seen Rookie of the Year? I know you're not a sports guy, but I'm sure you've seen
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
I watched all those kid-focused movies in the '90s growing up.
Yeah, good, good. Sandlot and all that.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, saw the A80J for 1798 at PC Richard. Should I wait till Black Friday, buy it now, or buy the X95J mostly for movies, sports, TV, 20 to 30% gaming in a dark bedroom? Oh, I would definitely go with the OLED over the X95J if you're in a dark bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
I'd probably buy it
I
now.
would say I don't see that one dropping. I can see the C1 moving $100 or so, but I think
Yeah,
that's going to stay about the same for Black Friday.
yeah, that was my prediction as well. Um, so I actually had these lower price predictions, and at first, like I was getting some people were like, "Nah, it's not gonna drop that low." I'm like, "All right, that's my prediction. I'm sticking to it." So I was bold, and it paid off. Because I admit I was a little bold with the prices, but they got pretty low. Um, so yeah, it's a really good time. I can't say that enough. It's a really good time to buy your TV if you're looking for the ones that dropped in price there. You're probably going to be fine buying now. And then also you have to consider most places have like a 45-day or 30-day return policy if you end up buying that TV. So if you buy that TV from Best Buy, then you get that 45-day policy if you're over what 3,500 something like that. Or is
Yeah,
it 3,000?
personally, my
3,000?
choice would be if you're not interested in an OLED warranty, then just buy at Costco. Even if you got to add the $60 for the membership, just do it because then you got 90 days, um, and they include 3 to 5 year warranties or whatever. So
Oh man. Yeah. Let's see. Something about the H1 picture that grabs me, but I can't put my finger on it. Is that the Vizio OLED?
you know,
Yeah, I heard they have some pretty good color volume for their OLEDs. But I actually never seen the H1 in person. So you had it, right? Did you have the H1 for a little bit?
oh no,
No.
no,
Okay.
only ever seen that in store.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So neither of us can really speak on it. Um, let's see. If you're speculating about price drops, you might as well go big. Yeah, maybe. Wedding Crashers. You've seen Wedding Crashers, right?
Yeah,
Not yet.
I said yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say go watch that right now. Yeah, no, those are good. Those are good. Chris Benson says the Pool Hall Junkies is a good flick. So we got somebody else who's watched that. It's good to see. I might have to
Yeah,
check it out
definitely
now.
one of those under the radar movies, but
Yeah.
I think it came out around like 2000, 2002, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Avoid Vizio OLED says Matt was like, don't get the Vizio OLED. A lot of people say that actually. So Vizio in general sometimes You start
Just
it up.
about every day,
Is it gonna
I
work?
hear my daughter say the TV's doing something weird again,
Yep.
talking about her video.
Right. Yep. Yep. Um, yeah. Pretty much hit the nail on the head. That's why I replaced it in the bedroom. I don't know if I'm keeping the R6 46 because here's the thing. Like, I don't do a lot of gaming in there. I don't know if I really need 120 hertz. I might be just fine with the 5 series. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the 646, but that's not because it's not a good TV. It's just it might be a little bit too much for my use case. Um,
Yeah.
in general, like I mostly like watch like Direct TV in there, and that's about it. And that's just when I'm going to bed or I watch YouTube. Oh, the YouTube app on the 646, it can speed up YouTube videos. Very awesome. Because the Sony didn't do that, and I don't know, maybe there was a firmware update and the Sony can do it now. But can you check that for me next time you were home, on the YouTube app for the
So,
Sony TV? Is
yeah,
it?
just remind me because it's not something I ever do. So,
Oh, you don't speed up videos? I
uh,
appreciate you. I remember there's so many people like I watch you in 1.5 times. I'm like, oh, thanks. You're cutting my view time in half, but thanks. Uh, but no, I admittedly watch a lot of YouTube videos in 1.5 as well, so don't feel bad. Let's see. But no, I think that's really cool that it had that feature. Jason Diaz says order a C1 from Best Buy or Amazon. Um, depends. I guess really what you want to have. Like Best Buy is probably going to give you the best return options if you're close to a Best Buy. Um, and Amazon's going to give you a longer return period if you're not an elite member. So those are the two things you keep in mind. And if you do end up buying on Amazon, though, please buy from my affiliate links. I'm just going to say that. It does help out the channel. But buy from either. It doesn't matter. You don't have to use the links, but it does help out. But for me, I'd probably buy at Best Buy, just because you have that return. It's right
and
there if I need to go grab it and take it to the store.
yeah, and that price should make you an elite member anyway, so you'll get the 30 days.
Yep, that's true. Good point. Um, it's insane. The A80J is 3K now, 77-inch. Only a few years ago, OLEDs for that size were going for 15K and lesser. TVs, good times. Yeah, I bought my 55-inch C7 for like 2,400 or something like that when it launched. A 55-inch C7 was 2,400. It
That's
was
funny.
probably even more actually at retail.
I remember being 18, buying my first TV, and
Yeah.
thinking $250 was a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. What kind of TV was that though?
It was an Insignia 30-inch 1080i
Okay.
CRT.
All right. See that's like $250 TV. That
And
kind of
actually,
TV
take that
now
back.
though
I was
costs like
I was 16.
60
I was
bucks.
16, 2006. I
Yeah.
remember because it was when Oblivion came out. I bought that TV to play Oblivion in HD.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, the first TV I bought with my own money was, I think it was a 43-inch Samsung. I can't remember what series it was, but it was right after my 3D Vizio kind of started to crash out on me. Yeah, those 3D Vizios were cool, man. I watched a lot of 3D movies on those.
yeah, it was kind of interesting how my budget for a television is like going up time after time that I buy a new TV, and it's like, all right, this is the most I'm ever going to spend on TV.
Yeah.
Nope, it keeps going up.
And on the flip side of that, though, like your budget is only going up because your standards are going up. If you were buying at the same standard that you started buying at, you'd actually be buying cheaper TVs these days. So,
Wow,
like, because if you want to buy like a 55-inch TV and just don't care what you get, just to watch like regular TV on it, you're breaking up like hardcore. But um, I don't know if you can still hear me, but
probably a couple $100 more
the
than that.
yeah, the 55 inches is just like you can get a good one for cheap right now. So
Oh,
I'm
geez, I
very
cut out for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good now. I can hear you again. But the 55 inches, like if you're in the market for just a cheap TV, now is a good time to buy more than any year that I've seen before. So
Yeah, that the TCL 5 series, $600. That's like just incredible what it's bringing to the $600 price range.
yeah, an A80J is killer value for cinema. Yes, it really is because the sound that you get in the TV is probably good enough for a lot of people.